call the Springdale Airport Commission November 20th, 2025 meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mike Goff,
Here.
Micah Thomason,
Here.
Joel Gardner, Steve Smith,
Here.
Cameron McGarren,
Present.
Greg Collier,
Here.
Jim Ulmer.
Thank you for that. And we'll move on to the minutes from last month. Everyone have an opportunity to review those, and is there any questions or comments? I would ask for approval then.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, everyone. Comments from the audience. If you are not on the agenda today and you have something to bring forward to the commission, now's your opportunity. You'll have a maximum of 5 minutes. If you'd like to step up to the podium, now's your time. All right, we'll move on to hangar rent increase. James, I'm going to pass this to you if you'll get us started on that.
Yes, sir. The last time we raised it was back in 2024, and it didn't get done until in middle of the year in June. So I told you I would bring it back in the next 2 years and have it at the first of the year. So here's usually our normal last meeting of the year. So we have to give 90-day notice. So this would take effect come April 1st.
And what's the percentage there?
It's a 15% increase.
And as a commission, I think most of us were on this 2 years ago. We decided 2 years ago for James to bring this back to us with the same 15% increase at that point. So, Ernest, do we need a vote on this? We do. So I would ask for a motion to increase the hangar rent by 15%.
I'll make that motion.
Have a
I'll second it.
motion and a second. Roll call vote, please. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so the rent increase passes. That will become effective April 1st of 2026. Correct, James?
Correct.
Thank you.
Notice is mailed out.
Thank you. All right, number 6, Frank Sparandio. Did I do justice with that?
Yes, sir.
Step up to the podium, please. Will you step up to the podium, please? So tell us, sir, why you're here.
Pardon?
Tell us why you're here today.
How am I?
Why are you here? What would you like to discuss?
To make known that I've been evicted. And I got some documentation that may or may not be interesting to you. I work for the FAA with 5 designations, and I've inspected airplanes from Hawaii to New York, Canada, to make sure that they are in good shape and are airworthy. I built my own plane, Miss Pearl, and won 25 national grand championships. And I have an authorization activity report here, if you would like to. I don't want to read all of it, but I got the lease agreement that some things I don't understand. And I have documentation. Would you want to see this first?
And what is that? Documentation of what?
All the airplanes that I've inspected on this airport.
No, sir, I don't think we have a need for that. Do you have an aircraft in that hangar?
The what?
do you have an aircraft in the hangar?
I can't hear him. No, no. No, not right now. I had permission by Laura way back in June of this year I sold the airplane and to notify her that I did have an airplane that I finally found that I can, meet the designation of the all.
That's Laura that was the airport manager?
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
No, but was her position, that was the position she was in, yes.
And she gave me, we had a talk of a couple of minutes, we had a talk, and she notified me that I had to, look for another airplane, another aircraft. She gave grace, so to speak, to find an aircraft that would meet the airport situation. And,
That was with Laura?
pardon?
That was with Laura?
Yeah,
Laura hasn't been our airport manager for quite some time.
I understand that. I understand that. But it was back then, I don't know the date, but it was back then to contact her, which, like you said, she no longer works for you all. So,
So they've asked you to vacate the hangar because you do not have an airplane in the hangar and have it for a time?
when currently,
Right.
yes.
Or since you talked to Laura?
Si-
Or since you talked to Laura way back then?
Yeah,
It's been empty for quite a while. How long has it been empty? Do you know when you sold that airplane?
yeah, back in June
Of,
this year.
When was Laura's last day? Do you
Is he talking?
Do you have, what do you use the hangar for? Do you have a business in the hangar?
Yes. I use the hangar to do a list here of using my authorization as an inspector to do their annuals, owner-assisted annuals. Yeah, I have a designation that the FAA has given me to do on airports, probably, that they learn as mechanical, do different things that the FAA allows to assist me, I assist him to make sure that the owner-assisted authorization, and they learn from me, next time around. Now, Dr. Pruitt, one of my best clients here on the airport, has 3 airplanes in his hangar, and he meets the having 3 documented airplanes in his, which I have authorization to put all 3 in the air with my signature. Okay?
Austin, are we understanding it was just a vacant hangar, so because there's no aircraft in there?
That's correct.
So our issue is as part of our agreement with your lease, to lease the hangar, is that there has to be an aircraft in the hangar, and there isn't an aircraft in the hangar.
And there hasn't been one for
No,
quite some time.
There's an aircraft in my hangar right now. That's what I want to get to. It is a FAA bona fide aircraft. And it's in my hangar. and I do inspection on it. And I have submitted to the FAA the proper documentation for the switch over to my ownership.
James, can you help here with some clarification on the business and the hangar that he's leasing?
Yeah, the hangars aren't certified to have a business in because in order to run a business, you have to have facilities and you have to have a business license. The city won't issue a business license in a hangar because it's not for that, it's just for aircraft storage.
I think that
What was that?
tells us everything. You're not allowed to have a business in a hangar like that. You have to have a business license, and the city of Springdale will not honor that in a hangar. And so
Okay.
that voids that lease for that hangar for you.
Yeah, money is transferred from my operation of signing an agreement that the airplane is in good shape, and I'm the owner of that aircraft.
So James, if he ceases to operate a business and
Well, you
he
can
purchases
construe
an
that.
airplane that
Um,
it lives in that hangar, then he's back in compliance with the lease and we're good.
Correct.
So it'd be my suggestion that you cannot continue to operate a business out of that hangar, that's not allowed by city rules, and that we would give you come up with a time period that you have to have an airplane that you own in that hangar.
Well, I think we've given more grace than needed on the time to get an airplane in the hangar. I think we're
Laura's last day
pushing,
was October 11th of '24.
so we're 2 years in without an aircraft. Or, I'm sorry, 1 year in.
Yeah, it's a grace period. I mean, sure, I get paid for my time, but they fly in to Springdale. I have clients here, and with their N numbers, and when I did the inspection, and you are right in that, that I didn't know you had to have a business license. It's not in my paperwork here, the lease agreement. I've read it about 3 or 4 times, and I'm really confused to really admit that. And I have the FAA registry of that particular plane, okay? And the paperwork is submitted to the FAA as a flying aircraft, okay? Now, whether I get paid or not, I don't see that in any of my documentation. Now, Laura, I tried to call her and say, here's where we stand now. And I called her back, I don't know what the time element was, but I said, and I called the airport, I says, can I speak to Laura? She's no longer here
Okay.
as my
Austin,
witness.
have you got anything to add to this, or have we pretty well covered it?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Okay,
I think unless you have anything else to add, I think we understand everything in the situation.
okay. One more thing. I know I'm beyond the 5 minutes, right? One more thing. Austin, you're a nice guy. You got a nice voice, but I resent somebody coaching you to tell me you're evicted. That's what you were coached on, and I can prove it by the coach, who I know the name, but I'm not going to expose what he is, but if you all want to hear his name, fine. But
Sir,
He,
sir.
wait a minute.
No, no, I'm not going to allow that. The issue is, he told you that you would be evicted because you had no aircraft in the hangar, and you haven't for some time. That's the biggest issue here.
Well, yeah.
And so we're going to vote as a commission to decide how we move forward. We don't
Perfect.
need you to disgrace anyone else here.
Well, well, I have a good function here at the airport.
Thank you, and we
My
appreciate
clients
that.
come in here, they land their plane, they fill the tanks up, okay?
Okay, so we're going to go to a vote.
I want to make a motion that that he has to stop his business there and that we give him 30 days to have an aircraft in that hangar, housed in that hangar. And if in the 30 days he does not have that, then he is evicted.
His personal
His
aircraft.
personal aircraft in that, and that there's no longer any business operation. If we have any more business operation happening out of the hangar, or we do not have an aircraft there in 30 days, then he is evicted. That would be my motion.
I would second that.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Mr. Bursey, if you cannot do business out of that hangar, do you really want to keep that hangar?
Certainly. I've been here for 35, 40 years with Youngkin when I came from Baltimore to here. Got my license, got all these designations from the FAA, retired from the University of Arkansas Physics Department as an instructor, and I've had a good time here in Arkansas from Baltimore, Maryland.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 So the motion passes. So do you understand what was just done? You cannot have a business in the hangar, and you must have your personal aircraft in that hangar within 30 days.
There again, that's news to me.
Well, I'm telling you now. That's why I want to make sure you understand
I
this.
understand that, sir.
Okay, so you have 30 days, and Austin will be following up to check on that. So if you are running your business, or if you do not have your personal aircraft in that hangar, you will be evicted from the hangar at that point, and you will not be allowed to come back.
Okay, for what it's worth, I pulled the client's airplane outside on the tarmac, and most of the time go outside of the premises to finish my inspection.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, okay.
Okay? Thank you for coming in. Okay. Mr. Adams, are you here?
Hey, guys, thanks for a few minutes. So I guess I'm here for a similar reason. I've been a tenant at Springdale since 2015, I think. I don't know a whole lot what's going on, so all I can tell you is my story. I walked into the FBO at 2015 on the advice from a local pilot. I was hangaring a Cirrus in Fayetteville, and I bought a new one, and they recommended Springdale because of the approaches. So I went to the FBO and said, I need a hangar. They said, we got one, and they put me in a hangar. And I've been in that hangar since 2015. Everybody's known about it. I've had mailings from the Airport Commission. I've had mailings from the state of Arkansas. Later on, I went into the FBO and said I needed a second hangar. What they told me was, we don't have any more room. Call the city and get on a waiting list. They never told me that their hangar was a city hangar. They just said, we have no more TA hangars, call the city. So I called the city and I said, I'm looking for a second hangar. I said, a second hangar. I have a plane in a hangar. And they said, okay, we're putting you on a waiting list. Ever since then, every year I've called and said, where am I on the waiting list? I've even said, look, if you got a bigger hangar, I'll take a bigger hangar because I have 2 planes. I have a plane in a T hangar now. And then I landed, heard about the commotion, got an eviction notice, and said, guess what? Now you're at the end of a waiting list. Well, in 2015, if somebody would have said, either we have no hangars or the city has a hangar we can put you in, I could have been in a waiting list since 2015. I could have left my plane at Fayetteville, and my understanding is I would be in a hangar now. So I did my best. I didn't I didn't do anything underhanded. I wasn't trying to subvert a system. I went to your vendor. I've been working with the city. And now you guys want to punish me by throwing me out of the hangar which I mean, you guys got the right to do with the hangars what you want, but I kind of think it's unfair to now put me at the end of a 2025 waiting list when I should have been on the waiting list in 2015 if anybody would have just been honest and practical with me. And I don't know who was supposed to be following this. I don't know who would, but I didn't know these rules were in place. Other airports I've been to, city owns some hangars, people own hangars, the FBO owns hangars. Honestly, I just thought I was renting an FBO hangar that was owned by them. So I guess I'm here saying I have situations where I make a mistake, and when I make a mistake, I try to make it right. I think either the FBO, the city, or both made a mistake. I'm asking you all to make it right. I'm not asking you to put me in front of anybody else that would have been on the list before me, but at least put me in the place where I would have been in 2015. So if that's number 10, that's number 30, I don't think I should be a number 100. And that's all I'm here for.
Thank you. So do you recall when you called the city to be put on that waiting list, who you spoke with?
There's another Smith.
James Smith?
I think so, James. And I've called, I've spoken to a female there. When I've called back to check, I've spoken to a female there.
Were you
Have I
ever
spoken to you,
told?
Austin? I mean, I've spoken to Austin, but all this time, I've been, like I said, I fly 350 hours a year out of the airport. It's not like this has all been hidden. I've been writing checks to the airport. I mean, all of this is all
I
above
understand
board.
that.
So I can't remember all the names. I mean, I've got a letter from
No, that's fine.
a long
I'm just-
time ago where the FAA, where you guys were like doing an FAA survey, and they said, we need such and such from your airplane and hangar, whatever it is, 7B.
I'm just trying to do a little research to see if we can figure it out. So when you called back each year, were you ever told where you were on the waiting list?
For the second hangar, yes. I don't know where I am on the hangar. I think you told me number 40, something like that. But I think I would be way ahead if I would have been on. And I don't want you to, I'm not asking to be changed for the position for my second hangar, because I still ultimately would like to get a second hangar. What I want to be is in the correct position for the hangar that you're telling me I'm not supposed to be in the first place, which I didn't know, which dates back to 2015. I mean, I'm sure the FBO's got to have some records. I mean, I've been writing these guys checks for over a decade for a hangar that I thought I was in appropriately.
I'm curious about that. How much were you paying a month for your hangar?
Initially $250 a month, and then they went up here recently, I don't know, $260. What are you charging now? I mean, whatever they were charging me. Yeah. I mean, it just went up about a year ago, right? I don't know. I mean, I can look, if you need the bank records, I can get you the bank records of what I've been paying them.
As I understand it, we've leased those hangars to Summit with a clause in our contract that they cannot sublease. And that's what unfortunately happened to you in this situation, is they subleased to you. I can see where there would be no way for you to see that or understand that and know that. So I'm sorry that happened. We're not the ones evicting you. We are taking the hangar that was in violation of its contract back from Summit because of that, and then you're caught in the crossfire here. So I do appreciate the situation that you're in.
So what I'm asking, and I don't know how long you guys have been here, but the entity of the airport commission has some culpability here, because part of what they were supposed to be doing is enforcing these lease rules. So even going back to 2015, if the airport commission would have done its homework, known that Summit was subleasing to me and contacted me at the end of 2016, I could have still gotten I mean, sure, I would have moved my hangar out, and I could have been on a waiting list in 2016. So that's what I'm saying is, somebody here should have been doing their job for a decade. No one was, and I'm getting punished for the fact that no one was doing, and I don't know your rules that you've got with, I mean, this is your vendor. And so I don't know what rules you have your vendor, so I'm just assuming everybody is doing things correctly, and now everybody wants to steamroller over me, and I don't know if I'm speaking for anybody, but I don't mean to, but if there's anybody else ahead of me that's in this thing, I'll put them ahead of me, but it's not fair that someone who walked in here and signed up for a waiting list in 2020 is ahead of me when I was trying to play by the rules. I mean, I did not try to circumvent any rules at all.
James, his request to be able to figure out when he would have, like 2015, when he started this lease, is there a way to even know where he would be on the list there? Is there dates on that?
Yeah, every name has a date.
Any idea where that would be?
In 2015, it'd be top of the list.
Is his name currently on the list?
He is, but his second one, so he's like number 40.
40.
But
Yeah,
back
which I would,
to,
like I said, I love Springdale and I fly a lot out of there. I would love to have a second hangar. I mean, because I do a lot of operations out of there. So, I mean, I'm not asking to be taken off the list, and I'm hoping that I don't have to be taken off the list, but I would like to have at least a little bit of grace for the fact that I tried to play by the rules. I mean,
Understood.
What are your guys' thoughts?
What kind of plane do you have?
A Cirrus.
A Cirrus?
Yeah.
So you're in a larger T hangar then?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'm in a T hangar in terms of whether it's size, I would have to defer to these gentlemen in terms of large or small.
Is it an open or an enclosed?
It's an enclosed.
Where would he be on the list back in 2015? Would that put him in the top 5?
He just said it'd be first.
number 1.
He'd be number
Our
1.
list starts at 19.
So I would, unless we have more discussion, I'd make the motion that we put him where he would have been in 2015 on the list. And that would be first. So whatever is determined with these evictions and hangars that we have pulled out, whatever order that would be, I'd put him number 1 on our list. I think that's the fair, equitable thing to do.
I would second that because I want to be fair. We're in a bad situation. And, you know, no need to point fingers. It is what it is. The cards have fallen where they've fallen. And I think it's our due diligence to make it as right as we possibly can make it. Because it's a terrible situation. I lost 2 hangars too, as well. So I'm caught in the crossfire, so I totally understand. So it's not just you. You know, I sit up here and I lost 2 as well because of what has happened with previous management. And so I think, and when I met with James, I totally understood his position, and we had a long conversation about it, and I gave those hangars up because what happened to me, you know, was unfair. So, well, it wasn't right to everybody else that was on that list. And so I think if you honestly, you know, would have known, you would have put your name on that list back in 2015, and you would be in a different situation.
And I did, again, like I said, I'm here, there's no story here other than.
Right.
I had a hangar in Fayetteville, I wasn't in pressure for anything, I mean, it is a story, yeah.
So, and I think you understand, the gist of this is simply the hangar was subleased,
I
and that's
get
what
it.
voided
They're
it.
just-
And what we're trying to do is help you through this process.
I
We understand
100%.
that.
Just know from my end, there's so many rumors going around the airport. That's why I'm not mad, I'm not jumping up and down. I have no idea where this all coming from, but I understand you guys are trying to play by the rules. I just wanted you to know I was too, back a long time ago when I first met you.
Well, also for you
I'd like
saying
to make a
us do our
motion.
job, their previous management was told, do not sublease T hangars. And when they sold their aircraft in 2018 and got rid of their flight school, they should have returned the hangars, and they didn't. They just sublet them. So it's nothing against the current Summit. It was previous management. So they were told not to sublease, and they did it anyway.
Okay.
So can I make a motion that we allow Cyril Adams to keep his original hangar, stay on the list for the second hangar if you got a second airplane, and I guess that's my motion, is let him keep his hangar because he'd be number 1 on the list.
I had a
If he
motion
gives-
first, so I can recant that if
Oh, I'm
that's how it
sorry.
works. We were kind of the same thing. So I was putting him number one on the list. I did realize after I said that, though, that there are other people that are going to speak here in a moment that may have been earlier than that. I suspect 2015 is as early as we're going to find, but I think if we're going to set that,
Mr. Smith, would you mind restating your motion?
You're going to have to help me with the restatement of this motion. My motion is that Cyril Adams keeps his original hangar that he's had since 2015, get a new contract with the city or the airport, with the city of Springdale Airport, whatever it is that he's got to sign, so that we are up to date where he's supposed to be. Everything's legal and legitimate. He's got an airplane that he's had in this place. He rents a lot of, that's part of my motion, but he does. He rents a lot of, or he pays a lot of fuel and does a lot at this airport. So I just make a motion that he keeps this hangar.
I'll second.
Are we good?
I think you may actually get a reduction in your rent,
That sounds like it.
I believe he will.
so you might be better off than you thought.
That's fair, but I don't.
So-
Y'all aren't very expensive, to be honest with you, compared to some of
We're
the
trying
other
to
places
fix
in the
that.
world, so.
Back
Whoa, go
back
back
to where we
15 needs to
were.
go up.
Did we have a motion from Micah to begin with?
He withdrew it.
You withdrew it.
I'll withdraw the motion.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I second it.
So can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, guys. So
Be getting you
somebody
a
will
contract.
contact me, basically?
Yeah.
All
Yep,
right,
you'll be
thank
getting a
you, guys.
contract for the
I'll
lease.
soon I'll get in touch with you and have everything ready for you.
Do you still want to be on the list for the second airplane?
Okay, thank you. Moving on to number 8. Chip Johnson, are you here? Hello, sir.
Hello. Similar situation, getting evicted. In 2021, I expanded my business to Kansas City. Instead of do that drive, I met Cameron, started at his flight school, finished my private in 22. Before that, I bought an airplane, so I bought it in 21. I got a hangar in 21. Also, this sublease mess, which I don't envy you guys for trying to clean up. Bad situation, but anyway, so I've had a Cirrus there since 21. I can provide the date I got that hangar on the lease I have with Summit. Similar to the prior gentleman, I called Drake, I called Springdale, called Bentonville. Springdale said they had one for me. Nowhere in the lease does it say anything about this sublease or anything else. Thought I was just leasing the hangar from whoever had it. I fly that Cirrus 200 hours a year. I'm at the airport 3-4 days a week. I'm going to Kansas City. I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to Joplin, Harrison, all over the place. In 23, bought a second airplane, a CJ-1. That was being hangared at XNA. In 24, I wanted to move that to Springdale, so I had both airplanes in Springdale. So the CJ-1 is now in Springdale and went through a long 9-10 month process to get that on Executive Airs 135. So across both airplanes, they're probably buying 30, 40,000 gallons of fuel a year. Bad situation. I don't know what my date is on the list, if it's 21 or not.
It is,
It is 21?
yes,
And what number am I?
34.
34. So, my ask is simple, I am a good customer of all the stakeholders at the airport, whether they're employees and me giving them Christmas bonuses at the end of the year, or the employees that I paid 1099 money to clean both airplanes monthly. I obviously buy a lot of fuel across both airplanes. It's not to the fault of mine that I'm in the situation. I understand the hardship that the situation put y'all in. So the first thing would be, ask for grace. The second thing would be, if we're gonna, this is obviously a painful process, but if we're gonna kind of start over, can we do it in a way where the people that maximize all the stakeholders at the airport, have some prioritization to get a hangar? Obviously, if you don't have an airplane, you don't need a hangar. There's probably multiple people out there with empty hangars, I would assume, I don't know. But maybe we reset this thing and do it right, set it up the right way going forward.
That's what we're working towards.
Yeah.
That's why we're here doing this. So what year did you first lease the hangar?
21.
21.
And where do you think that would fall on the list?
Where's that? 34.
34? So he's subleased at the same time that he put his name on the list?
I assume.
I didn't talk to two different people, so I don't know how I got a hangar and on the list. But I don't know.
Summit for your hangar, obviously.
Okay,
City for the name on the waiting list.
okay.
So.
So maybe I got on the waiting list and then,
Hey, Chip, you said you had a CJ1 at the airport. Where's that being hangared? In Summit's hangars?
yes.
The other airplane is an SR-22, is that what you said? Is there not enough room in the corporate hangars where they could store the SR-22? See head shaking, no.
We would have to look, currently, we're really close to being oversold on space. Sorry, Chip. You're good. Yeah, currently, we're really close to being oversold on hangar space. We've got, hangars that we've leased in the community hangars. The space in there that if all of our tenants that we have leased to come home, then we're really close to having to put somebody outside if everybody's home at the same time. So it's possible that we could get him in. Yeah, as we have space. There is another thing that we're working on for space. I've got to get clarification on that. I believe we'll be able to get you housed temporarily,
Hey, Brian, have you talked
Yes.
to Tommy Lee? Does he got any space available over there? Because it's my understanding, if we're in a corporate hangar, no matter, if it's owned by the city, if
Right.
you're in a corporate hangar, you can sublease space in those corporate hangars.
To
So-
my knowledge, I had not looked at the lease agreement, the wording in the lease agreement for the community hangars. I don't know that, and I just made myself current with the wording for the leases on the T hangars. So I assume that is correct. That's what I've heard, but I'd have to do some research to figure that out. I'm sure that's the case. Okay. Yeah.
You're not in a good position on the list. That's why I'm asking these questions, right? To his benefit over there, he was in a good position to retain his hangar. This particular situation, we're not. So I'm trying to figure out an alternative plan for you, just in case the vote goes in a different direction.
Yeah.
But I would highly encourage you to maybe reach out to Tommy Lee, because I'm not sure if his hangar is completely full yet either.
Yeah, we'll have to reach out to Tommy Lee and see what kind of space he has down there, for sure.
So is there I don't even want to say it like that, is there a chance, do you have space in a hangar currently that he could use?
Yes, right, as of right now.
Depending on who's here, who's not
Right,
here.
that's correct. Yeah, as of today,
ideal.
we have space that we can put in. We've got space over in hangar 16. We just got a Hawker 4000 that eats up a lot of real estate in that hangar 16. And matter of fact, we were hangaring in an MU2 that we had to ask to move out so we could make space, because there's a King Air 350 that is renting space from us in that hangar. And he's been gone for a while, and we don't know when he's going to be back. So if he could come back this afternoon, and then that hangar's full. So as of right now.
But it's not a good.
Right,
long-term.
it's not right. It's not a long-term.
Brian, I've got a question for you. How many more of these T hangars do you guys have subleased? How many of these situations are we going to have to deal with?
9.
Holy moly.
Summit had nine T hangers. Yeah. And I can list them off for you. I have them at the top of my head, which numbers they are.
No, we don't need that.
Okay.
We're just going to have to address
So
each
there's
one
9 there.
individually.
How many do you think do have airplanes in them?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
We think all of them will. We are trying to always, that's what the
Well,
first gentleman
like-
was.
Not those 9, but like the other ones that are leased right, how many do you think don't have airplanes in them?
We don't think there are any that do not have airplanes in them unless it's a short-term, temporary situation. Like we found one that we thought was a temporary situation that turned out not to be. We expect them to be with planes in them where Austin's going to find it and we're going to get some space for somebody else to be in there. That is our goal. We've talked about this, and those that haven't been in the meetings, it's a complicated process because tail numbers can be leased out of Delaware, and it's hard to trace tail numbers back to who actually owns it, and then you have corporations that are leasing those hangars from us. It is difficult to connect the dots and see who it is that owns what. And that's why subleasing has become so difficult to figure out. We are trying, and we have had multiple people working at this. It's very, very difficult.
Would there ever be a case where, like I'm guessing in the last 5 years, even on the city's list, potentially did number 4 jump number 1 for some reason that was better for the airport?
We don't do that. We
Never.
would change if number 1 needed a large hangar, he might get jumped because we have a
Okay.
small hangar available. Or he doesn't have an aircraft and can't get an aircraft, but he gets first shot at it in a
Okay.
period of time to get an aircraft for us. But we've never included or consideration for how much fuel you burn, what business you bring to the airport. None of that has ever been considered for that list.
Yeah.
Right, James?
Correct.
Well, we appreciate, and Dr. Adams, the same thing, we appreciate the fact that you purchase fuel from us, and it obviously benefits our airport. The list is set up for whoever got on there first.
And then building, so you can't, is there ground leasable land?
Yes, and we offer ground leases. You can work with James, and we can come up with we do a ground lease, you build a hangar. We typically do, is it a 30-year lease?
35? 39?
39-year lease on it, so you pay us rent for the land, you build the hangar. After 39 years, we take over ownership of the hangar, but you get the hangar for 39 years.
And then it goes to you at year 39?
Goes to us at year 39, yes.
Okay, so I can't-
That's correct, Ernest, right? That's how it works?
What those numbers would look like. Not good, probably. Can you sell it? I guess you're gonna sell it with.
You can sell it, but you still have whatever's left of the 39.
Okay.
We've got quite a few of those contracts, so
That wouldn't hold its value, obviously. It's not like buying a house and selling it. You're buying a house and it's gonna be worth 0, year 40.
We have this conversation about every 6 months, and ultimately it comes down to the house doesn't have a runway in front of it. That's why it's a value.
Fair point. Okay.
any other discussion from the commission? Anything else that you want to present to us?
I wanted to ask, what do you pay monthly?
I think 255.
This one's
Anything
hard.
else?
I don't know. Mike, you have any?
I'm in the same position we were before. I couldn't support anything that was beyond putting him on the list at this point that he was actually put in that hangar.
I think that's our option.
And I don't know all the background of what management of Summit, I mean, obviously Summit feels terrible about this, and it sounds like they're going to try to work with you guys to try to find spots in hangars. I mean, ultimately, we just don't have a spot.
Yeah.
Try really hard to protect that list and not jump people on it. Like we lots of issues monthly on this. We really, some more than others are very protective of that list and the spots on that list. But we ultimately are trying to honor that list because people have been on it since 2001 or 21, like you have been. So
Do you know the people on that list that have or don't have airplanes?
We don't, but from time to time, we check and see if they're still wanting to be on the list. Obviously, just like you, they're on all 4 lists with Springdale, Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville. So sometimes they hop off and they don't necessarily give us the courtesy call of like, hey, I don't need to be on your list anymore. But we do routinely go through, maybe once a year, go through and try to kind of check a pulse of where we're at on that. We haven't done one recently.
For what it's worth, I think that list is going to move quicker than it has in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I have.
So I'd ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion, is that we maintain this, put his name on the list where he's already at on, as 34 on the list, because that's when he would have gotten on that list, and that unfortunately, we need to honor the eviction, and, sorry.
Unfortunately, I second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So motion passes. Obviously, that's difficult for us. We don't enjoy this by any stretch. And Austin and Summit, anything you guys can do to help in this situation, please do so. Let's find him a spot, and hopefully 34 moves up pretty quickly for you. We appreciate you.
Hey, Brian, get with me too, because I may have some ideas for Chip.
Thank you, Cameron.
And I mean, we've already made the motion, made that agreement, but is there a delay? Can we drag our feet while things are working through? I hate to push an aircraft out on the,
Well, if it goes through today, he's got what, through?
it's not our
January?
lease.
Letter said.
It's not ours.
Yeah, you get to the end of December.
End of December.
It's not a lease with us, so it's not, we're not enforcing our lease agreement because you didn't violate our lease agreement.
Let's see what,
What was the comment?
It's not, our lease agreement doesn't determine when he needs to be evicted by. He doesn't have an agreement with us. He has an agreement with Summit, which is a void contract anyway. So there's really not an agreement in place here. It's just a matter of when.
Or maybe this is a solution. Whoever's gonna get the hangar I'm in, depending on their urgency, can we try to transition that? Like, okay, they don't have an airplane, but they're closing on one in March. Can I stay in there till March?
I think it would probably just go to the next person on the list if they couldn't take the hangar at that point.
Well, don't they have a grace period to buy a plane if they don't?
So Summit's in violation of the lease agreement for subleasing, right? So the city is going to evict Summit from that hangar, which basically puts you out.
Right.
And so the 90 days or the 60 days that James is talking about through the end of December is basically evicting Summit from that hangar, right? Unfortunately, you were in there. So you have to go out as well. So let's try to work together.
Yeah.
I'll get with Brian after this. I've got some ideas around the airport that maybe we can help you out, okay?
Okay,
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
What is our standard, like in this experience in the past? Say, number one, we call them, we have a hangar available for you. How long do we give them to buy an aircraft? I've
30
talked to
days.
lots of people that are like, if I knew I had a hangar, I'd buy an aircraft, but until they get that call.
They have 30 days. If they aren't able to acquire aircraft in 30 days, we go to the next. Because we're not making money with an empty hangar.
Okay. Let's move on. Number 9, update from Summit.
Afternoon again, everybody. Numbers will be short and sweet. Jet A, our October fuel sales are down 11% from September. That's 5,300 gallon deficit down from September. And Hunter Low Lead sales are up 21%, an increase of 2,354 gallons. So that's the numbers. Kind of transition over to the hangar thing. I was under the impression, James, so do we have until the end of December to get everybody moved out? Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure we were still on that, okay.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. You guys have any other questions for me? And
believe so?
we will work with everybody, trying to get everybody housed temporarily, and we're not just gonna, put everybody out on the ramp. We're working, trying to get folks housed while we kind of get this whole mess managed,
I
so,
appreciate that.
yeah.
I haven't received anything about this mess. Can you give me your perspective on how we got to this point?
Well, I mean, just like it's been laid out today, this came down where it turned, Summit was subleasing hangars from, that we had leased hangars, 9 T hangars from the city, and we had been subleasing them to other tenants. And that was not honoring the letter of the contract. So, I understand that, it's unfortunate that we're in the position we're in, but we've got to honor the lease. Mark?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I believe in summary, a lot of this started from when Summit actually had flight schools, so we had multiple ones there too. Over the years, we've had to deal with issues, not really long-term, but like when, a great example of the mapping planes that come in and need, especially in the wintertime, need to be able to have hangars. And we were able to utilize some of this space to do that and not be trying to bump out corporate aircraft and lose business, which is bad for all of us. It was never Summit's intent I honestly just never paid attention. So I do apologize. Not our intent. We offered these T hangars to our customers as part of the ability to, the service to pull and put in their airplanes for them, which we do not do for other hangars. So that's kind of the big reason, using it for overflow and then as the airport has gotten busier and busier, then we have, it's been long-term tenants in there. I do appreciate the commission doing their best to try to work out, and, nobody wants to see tenants that have been here multiple years. They're good customers for us, for the city, and we're just trying to work through this best we can. We understand your position, and we are more than willing to do what we need to do. But I do apologize for the mess, and I hope we didn't contribute to it, but we're kind of in the middle of it too, so.
So you had a flight school. When the flight school ended, you had empty hangars that you had leased that you didn't need for the planes that you were using in the flight school. So you started using those for overflow.
Overflow, photograph.
And when did the flight school close?
Gosh, I don't remember. It was,
Pre-COVID?
Yes.
yes, Dave, he ended up selling to Stewart. And so a lot of that kind of changed. And that was kind of the formal ending of, and all. It was real close to about when Cameron started in there.
Yeah, it was about 7 or 8 years ago.
So that's what we were kind of been
About
using
7
it
years
for.
ago.
So when's the most recent lease that you've signed? All these leases have been since that time? They've been that old? There's nothing new?
Yeah.
Correct.
And I'll be the first to admit, truthfully, I never read the lease. This is how we'd kind of been operating there forever. And so, it's my responsibility that I didn't, but it was not our intent to cause problems. So.
Well, we're where we are, so we've just got to do the best with what we can moving forward.
We're going to work through it.
We appreciate it. Anything else? Thank you. All right, Mr. Kate?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Austin, operations report.
Okay, so based on the actions that were taken today, we will be taking 6 hangars back from Summit. We're going to allow Mark, I know you have a couple of personal airplanes. We're going to allow him to keep 2 for his personal storage. As Cameron had said, we are taking 2 from him as well. So taking that in account with the ones that we discussed at the previous meeting, that gives us a total of 12 hangars that will be coming available by the end of the year. So I would also like to state for the record, I mean, I do have a pretty good coach sitting over here. But I'd also like to state for the record, you know, I know sometimes hard decisions have to be made, but I make every decision in good faith. You know, there's not an ounce of ill will in me when it comes to this airport. You know, I know I've already voiced, and I feel like y'all have a pretty good understanding of where I stand on my values, and fairness is a very big part of that. But moving on, I believe we have an insurance update, but I'm going to let James touch on that in the activities report. As far as rent goes, everybody's all paid up, so we have nobody past due. And I think that's pretty much all I got.
Great, thank you for that. Any questions? All right, moving on. James with the activity report.
All right, like Austin said, we've worked out with the insurance for replacing the roofs and getting everything repaired from the hail damage. They're planning on starting at the end of this year, but they won't finish it up till probably spring next year by the time the weather allows them to continue. And other than that, Austin and I have been working well together. He's doing a great job, so I can't say enough good about him, and just moving it forward.
How many total buildings do we have that they're going to re-roof?
About all of them, again.
Does that include the tower?
Yeah, they're fixing the tower roof. They're actually putting a better membrane up there than what's there.
Which we thought, 2 years ago when we did this? That was top of the line.
Yes.
So the contract, we talked about this last month. What's the name of the company that's we've
Arkansas
contracted with?
Roofers,
Out of Little Rock?
Little Rock, I believe.
Any questions for James? Thank you, James.
Thanks, sir.
Greg, Carver update.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let's see if this loads up. Awesome. Well, I just have a short update for you all today. We only have 2 active projects going on. The first one is our strategic plan. The second one is the tower rehabilitation project. I'll start with the strategic plan, and then I'll move into the tower rehab for our updates. The strategic plan, not a whole lot of action as far as meetings over the past month. We had our kickoff meeting in September. At that time, we decided that, we were going to establish or do some of our planning over the next 2 months and have our next meeting in the December-January timeframe. So over the past 2 months, we've been we had a technical memo that detailed our visioning session that was submitted to all of the stakeholders. We've also started identifying the existing facilities at the airport, and then also determining airports that we're going to compare to, so that we can make accurate, what are they called? Accurate comparisons there. Looking ahead, we're going to continue to look at the comparable airports, their existing facilities, and then also look into revenue-generating businesses at the airport and potential new businesses for the airport. We'll also start looking at, putting some maps together that look at land areas that are of interest to the airport for future expansion. That will be what we look at for the next meeting as well. So next meeting, we're looking at December-January timeframe. I'm thinking it's going to be closer to January, just with the holidays and things kind of catching up to us with the scheduling of that one. Any questions about the strategic plan? Okay. Moving on to the tower rehabilitation. I've got before and after pictures kind of shown here, but as far as work that's taken place over the last month since our last meeting, we've had a hard time getting the contractor scheduled and into the tower, so not a lot of work has taken place. However, we have continued to work on estimates for the HVAC system, the new HVAC system and the emergency generator. We're hopeful to have those estimates for the next meeting. Any questions about the project as a whole? I know I've gotten some feedback from some of you.
So the HVAC system, are we talking about a mini split?
Yes, sir. The current HVAC system that's in the tower, whenever I've brought our mechanical engineers there, they've said, hey, this is a difficult room to heat and cool just because it's got windows on all sides. The system that they have, from what I've been told, is accurately sized. It's just issues with either the programming of it or the thermostat. And every time that we've tried to, we've looked at moving the thermostat around and trying to do some of that reprogramming to make it work better, it just hasn't yielded good results. And so based off of some feedback that I've had with Mike and talking with the contractor, looking at mounting a mini split in the ceiling might be the best option, just to provide, direct air circulation to that, traffic controller that's in the room right there. We can get him his own personal heating and cooling unit up there.
So the mini split, all I've ever seen of those, they're installed up on walls. Since this is a room full of glass, 360 degrees around, we're going to go up into the acoustic tiles and install it above their sight lines so that we're not losing any sight lines.
Yes, sir, that is correct. So really, we'll have to run maybe a few, cables and pipes, but those can run, let's see. They've got a few of these structural supports. We'll put it right next to the structural support. I don't imagine it being more than 2 or 3 inches of potential impairment to the vision there.
Well, I know Cameron and I both have been up there, and if you haven't been up there to look at the millwork, it's terrible. It is very subpar. I can't imagine accepting that quality of work. I don't know how they can. I talked to Greg, and I don't know how adjustments can be made. It is, first of all, it was all done in Formica. I didn't realize we were still using Formica, and this is something we're going to do and hope to last for 30 years. We may have. I can't believe that there were 2 options available, 2 different colors, 2 different wood pattern options. That was all that was available for them, according to Mike when I spoke with him in the tower. I think if you go up in the tower, you'll have the same experience and feeling that I do, that it's an embarrassment. The work that has been done is an embarrassment. The conditions that they're in right now is an embarrassment. This needs to be a priority for us. This is. I can't believe the busiest airport in the state of Arkansas has a tower that is in this condition, and the improvements that we're making, they're subpar. There was a video taken of an exact same size tower out of Millington, Tennessee, that was sent over, that was used for our design. Here's the video. You can see the areas they have to write on. That's the Millington. You see the areas, the flat areas with binoculars and the pad and the drink there. That's all a flat area to write on. Admittedly, it's all Formica. They do have a pencil tray. A pencil tray must be the only component that was seen in the design of it, because that's all we got. He'll show us. He has both videos here. That's what they were looking for. See, the stark difference of the whole slope the entire way, where they have their little microphone sitting there, is the only area that's flat. There's no spot for them to write. They are planning on putting a piece of plexiglass in there, I guess, like the other one. But we've lost the whole, reason for it. You can see the cabinet work right there. That's a really good picture. We have a screw head in the top of Formica with a 1/4 inch space there. I don't know if you can see the top above the instrument panel. That's a 1/4-inch space as well. This sheet of Formica was not cut correctly to the right size. There are other areas where this happened, and they just took and maybe cut another 3-inch wide piece of Formica and just kind of pieced it in there. It's really poorly done. I can understand where you would build a panel like this, make it really easy to access that control panel, because you could just pull the entire thing up and work on it. But we're not in this for ease of working on the equipment. We wanted these guys to have a really nice area to do a very busy, important job for our city. There are large spaces. I have pictures I've taken. It's a hoof up there. I was out of breath getting up there, but I think you'll agree with me. And if we're going to call these riding areas, you would never put a seam on the horizontal surface there. What they asked for, Greg, you mind playing that first one? You can see how it slopes all the way to the pencil tray. What they asked for was a more drastic slope of that cabinet. It doesn't interfere with sight lines. It's not any higher. It just slopes more drastic, allowing them a flat space that they can actually keep notes and keep information. You can see the height of the back of that is the same. They just took a less drastic slope and got rid of all of the writing. It's not a desk. It's a display. Display is all it functions as, with a pencil holder in the front. And you can see even the finish that they have on the front here. I mean, I don't know what finish we're going to end up with, but this is a exact same size tower, and we didn't get the same product. We need to, I don't know if we need to have the contractor that did this come in and talk to us about it. I wasn't there during the install. Speaking to Mike, the install was maybe done by someone that had never done one before. There were no measurements taken. They came in and they just cut everything on site. There are lots of really poor areas with 1/2-inch gaps where they didn't get the angle right from the back of the cabinet to the front of the cabinet. I'm not sure how you cover all that in Formica. I just don't understand. So I asked Greg, we do not have to use some FAA certified installer. We can have a cabinet maker come in and make these. I think I made my point. I'll quit talking, but it's bad.
Can you go back to the other R tower?
And we haven't paid them yet, so we have some recourse here.
And I'm happy to pause it if you guys want to stop and look.
I want to see the height of those sloped counters. Same height?
The back is the same. Actually, I asked him about it, and it wouldn't make sense to me to have them slope that much if you're trying to look at them, and he said they're not something that they look at. I also found, just watching him, that he does a lot of standing. We don't have the new chairs in there. I think there's some new chairs coming for him. Those aren't there yet, but he does a lot of standing while he's doing his job. So, but he says the angle of those displays, those cabinets that are sloped like that, that's not at all necessary for what he does.
So can he not use, in that, the way it is now, if he's standing, can he not use that as a desk to write underneath that?
It's at a weird angle. I don't know that it would be possible. And there are seams. I don't know if you can see it from the video. There are actually Formica seams in the middle of it. So as you're riding across, it's going to be jumping.
Yeah, I think the best example of that seam, you can kind of see it. There's one right here that Mike is mentioning.
But there's others that run the entire slot down, and they cut the angle wrong, so they just added a 3-inch piece.
You see a screw hole and through the Formica right there to hold that panel down, and another one up top. Like, that obviously isn't the way cabinets are built.
Who's the construction company? Are they local?
The construction company is out of Little Rock, and the general contractor for this one is the same contractor that did the previous project at Millington, which is the other airport that we're looking at. So we engaged the same team to put this together. Obviously, it was a little bit different, or obviously different product, at the end of it. However, I got a call from Micah about this yesterday or the day before. I've had several conversations with that contractor about it, and he doesn't disagree. I mean, I don't think any of us disagree with the quality of this work. I think all All that I can say to defend it at this point is that it's a work in progress. We're not finished with it yet, but I can also say that the contractor is committed to getting it right and keeping Mike happy. So am I as far as a, acceptance and payment point of view. My goal for this project from the start is, hey, whatever Mike needs, Mike Sparks, the tower manager, whatever he wants and he needs, I mean, we're listening to him. He's our number one most important person, our most important stakeholder on this project. I do think some pieces of it have been a little bit difficult. Sometimes you see something in plans or see something in a video, and you think you like it, then you get it installed, and maybe you have different thoughts about that. I think we have seen, some of that going on, and we've made some corrections for Mike from that point of view, and I think other things, the contractor has missed on. And so I think just with any project, I mean, sometimes the contractor is missing on it. Sometimes maybe the design side, maybe, the expectations are all missing. But what I can say here is, we're committed to getting Mike a product, not that he's acceptable of, but that he's happy with. He understands, I understand, we all understand it's a, 20, 25-year product that we're trying to get here. We're not trying to put up junk. Some other things that you had mentioned, Micah, as far as the Formica, the material. I understand where you're coming from with that. I've done a little bit of research, a little bit of asking around as far as that material. It's called a high pressure laminate, what they're putting in. And it's used a lot. I mean, it's an industry standard. It's not wood. It's not stainless steel. It is a more affordable, more economical material. However, it is, I mean, I'm not a cabinet person, but I think it does look a lot about like this stuff that we've got here. I don't know if this is real wood that's here. But it is industry standard. I can tell you it's used in hospitals. I can tell you it's used in other airport terminal work that we've been doing. And so I'm not, I think the material that we're using is still a good quality material. I think it does need a lot of touch-ups. I think, all of the gaps need to be fixed. There can't be seams anywhere. We need to be putting vinyl strips to cover up some of this exposed wood. Like there's a lot of touch-ups, and contractor, from my conversations with him, is completely on board to, get all of that resolved.
So that being said, can we get the contractor and you and Mike and the construction person, I guess, that did the work together ASAP and get this? This is kind of dragging along, obviously, and it's bad enough that it was dragging along, but when it's dragging along and then it's subpar work, we need to get in front of this.
No, I agree completely. I talked to the contractor. His cabinet guy's gonna be out there. He said next Monday or Tuesday is when he was planning on getting out there. He did say that with what's going on and what's left, it's not gonna be a one-day fix. It's gonna be, 2 or 3 more mobilizations. I think his cabinet guy isn't from Northwest Arkansas, probably from the Little Rock area, since that's where they're at. So it is going to be, a couple of mobilizations, a couple of trips, probably over the course of a few weeks to get this locked in. There are a couple other things to consider, like, as we're making these adjustments, we need Mike to get some time in to, figure out if that riding surface is enough space for him, that kind of thing. So I think bear with me and bear with the contractor a little bit as we, iterate this process to get it right.
When was this installed?
This was installed this fall in several pieces. I believe it was September.
So it's late November, and you're saying we're having scheduling conflicts with our installer. This place is open on a routine scheduled basis. We got to get something going here. It sounds like you have that started, but like, I just hate that it's sat like this for this long.
I agree, and I think that was a lapse of coordination. We were trying to do a lot of coordination through Mike. We've got Austin involved now. He can get us into the tower anytime. So their work availability, I think, increases a lot with Austin being there. Just some more things to consider. It is a tower. It is difficult to be in there at a time when it's busy working on stuff while there's traffic in the air, and so they do have to be aware of that. And so there's some things that they might have to do at night. I know some of this work was done at night, not all of the work was done at night, but that's just another scheduling issue, but it can be overcome, and it will be overcome. I'll make sure especially with some of this finishing stuff, I mean, there's no reason they can't be in there next week.
When I was there, I know there's some limitations on what we can use this grant for. When I was there, it looks like we still have some areas that are duct taped to keep the flies and the wasps out, that we don't have it sealed. Can we use money for that? It sounds like the roof is going to be taken care of due to hail damage. We can replace a few of the saggy, stained acoustic tiles above their heads. The carpet looks like it was already replaced and is correct, and we're working on a mini split that would hopefully help cool that area. There's also a broken piece of, like one of the glasses is broken. There's a crack through one of those. Can we do these other upgrades with it? I know we're hoping for a generator and these other things, and I know I'd asked you to bring the cost of what we had paid for all these things to see where our costs had been. I feel like there's a lot of other things that we need to do.
I agree with you, Micah, that sometimes it feels like we're putting a Band-Aids on this. For the FAA grant, that's only what they're allowing. The FAA was very specific that they would replace the cabinetry and the radio equipment. That was the extent. And so I did work with them to allow, hey, if we remove the cabinetry from the wall and there's exposed, broken down drywall or just junk that's back there, can we replace that? And they agreed. But even the carpet and the ceiling tiles was something that the FAA wouldn't be willing to fund. However, we do have a state grant that has $70,000 to $80,000 left on it. Once you take out, the cost of the generator and the HVAC, that might take out half of that $70,000 to $80,000. So then we can use the rest of that money for some of those touch-ups that you mentioned. However, the contractor what they don't want to do, they've expressed some concern in that, because obviously you go up there and you see all of those issues. But similar to what we're dealing with the roof is the second a contractor touches it, they own it. And so then we're going to be calling them back here for a while to address potential future issues. And so just like what we saw with the roof, I think the contractor sees that window and says, that window is something really easy for me to mess up, and they don't want that liability. And so they've expressed that with the window and the roof specifically, but I'm happy to, try again to see if, they can find a subcontractor who'd be willing to take it on.
Surely there's a glass company that specializes in that would be willing to take that on.
I heard one before. We just replaced a piece.
I was gonna say, we had a piece of it that was broke. I thought we had it fixed. I didn't know there was another one cracked up there.
Across the bottom, it's not going up through it, but it's definitely, you can see it. What do you think the line item for fuel is?
That's for, I assume that's for travel to and from Little Rock.
What are the electrical accesses and controls? $17,000. And it's a $315,000 job.
Right.
Admittedly, I think the air traffic control equipment is something we can't control, but that is $155,000.
Yeah, so the electrical accesses and controls is the providing the access points that connect the second level, or the top level to the second level, all of the equipment hardware, I guess, or maybe the brains of the radio equipment's on that first floor, and then the second floor is where you have all of the, dials and radio equipment, that kind of thing.
What's the finish repairs after removal?
So that's going to be your carpet, some of the ceiling tile, the paint, replacing wall panels behind the removed cabinetry, that kind of thing.
Say that again? It's the acoustic tiles above their head, the carpet, and there's no paint because it's all glass.
There's some paint on the area below the grass, but yes, and I think they painted the handrails. So it's not a lot of work that goes into that, no.
You guys should print this list and go look at it. I'm gonna quit talking.
I think we can, and I agree, Micah, like looking at these prices, some of them do seem absurd, but I mean, we are looking at a tower project, so you gotta climb up 4 flights of stairs. And this is all, small stuff, but, gotta climb up 4 flights of stairs. You might have to do night work to get it done. You have to work around tower personnel that are in there. So it's not an unfinished building that you can go in at any time. Some other things to consider is we did bid this publicly, and we had no one interested. The only way, I mean, I called contractors all over the place, just no one wanted to do a small $300,000, $400,000 tower project. It was very difficult to get someone interested. The only way I could get this contractor interested was by finding out that they did Millington, and calling them up and trying to gauge their interest. If you remember, we got the grant maybe in May or June. We had like 6 weeks to quickly do a design and bid it. Half of that was, the 3-week bidding before the FAA required a grant. And so what I'm trying to say in all that is that this was very quick to come together. It didn't allow for maybe them to, really sharpen their pencil on their bid to make sure they had a full understanding of the contract. It was, hey, I got to get a bid in right now to put this together. Let me throw my numbers together.
Anything else? Anyone have anything?
Would you update us whenever you get all of them together, stakeholders, into the or up to the tower?
Yes, yeah, I'm happy to. And just like as a closing statement, I mean, Mike Sparks is my number one priority. We'll make sure that we keep him happy and he's happy with the product. And I'll make sure to keep them moving so that at least we're seeing progress, for the rest of the year until we get this thing complete.
It would be nice, to Cameron's point, to keep us updated with some photos maybe, or videos even, so we can see the progress ongoing as well. That would be
Yes, sir.
very
I'm
beneficial.
happy to do that.
I understand you're the middleman too in this. I
think we got it.
Mike, I felt the same way. So when I went up there, but we know what we know now, and let's give them an opportunity to try to fix it.
Anything else for us, Greg?
No, sir.
Anything else for Greg from the commission? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Any old business from the commission? Old business?
I don't know if this falls in old business or just comment from the commissioner, but I feel like that 30 days for a guy to find an airplane, when you're looking for an airplane, that's awful quick. I think a better solution would be to start charging them from day one. This is your hangar. You either got 60 or 90 days, and if you don't produce an airplane in that period of time, then you forfeit your rent or your lease, and that goes to the next guy. But 30 days, when you've been waiting for 2 or 3 years and then try to find an airplane in that short of time is pretty tough.
Well, you're hoping they're already getting an airplane. If they've been on the list for 2 years, they're not waiting to get a hangar and then get an airplane. You're hoping they already have it.
Yeah, I agree that too, but I think.
And how often does that happen? How often does a hangar become available and the next person in line not have an aircraft to put in it?
I don't think it happens very often. I mean, the more limitations is if their plane will fit. Sometimes you have to skip them because their plane won't fit in that size hangar. But I don't think we've ran across very many that doesn't have aircraft.
Yeah, I haven't ran across it yet since I've started.
Then maybe my concern was a moot point.
Well, Austin or James, what, y'all have thoughts on
No,
that?
I mean, I'm okay with giving them a little extra time if that's what it takes for them to get their plane, if we run across that issue. Because like you said, they're gonna be paying rent from day one.
So 60 or 90 days. What do you think?
I'd be more inclined for 60 days myself If they have 30 now, we'll double that to 60. If they can't get a plane, or they don't have a plane, or they can't get a plane, I don't know how another 30 days is going to benefit them.
Okay.
But I'd definitely start rent from day one.
Exactly.
Is there anything, do we need to change that in the lease agreement?
It's not in there, it's just in-house policy.
Perfect. You good with that, Steve?
Yes.
Anything else? Comments from commissioners? Thank you to the commission. It's not easy sometimes what we do, and I appreciate you, everybody here. With that, we're adjourned.